Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to everybody watching out there. It's the time of the month again where we want to start trading together. We want to have a look today at the US inflation data release and see what the market has in stock for us. As I said before already, we are going to do some live trading again today. More on that in a couple of minutes. And of course, you have the opportunity to ask your questions. I believe we have a little giveaway, but also on Discord again, where you can ask your question, post your question then when you can win something. If I'm not mistaken, please don't quote me on this. And I can see we have quite a number of people already joining the stream here. How are you guys? Many familiar faces and names. So welcome back, everybody. If you've been with us here before already, if you haven't been with us before, welcome to That Crypto Show Live. My name is decode. I'm the head of trading education here at PrimeXBT. I'm also a trader with 25 years of experience. And I hope that today maybe I can show you a trick or two about trading. Good. Later, more on questions. Now, the most important thing here, guys, is if you haven't done so already, go to the description in the video of the video and click on the link for the Telegram channel for the Trading Academy. I did a little vote there yesterday where you have the opportunity to decide which real life positions I'm going to trade here today during the stream for the release, which is due in 28 minutes, the US inflation data release. And yeah, you can decide which positions I should trade. And if it works all out the way it usually works out by the power of a community, we will again hopefully manage to win some money. And which then, of course, goes back to you guys again. All right, let's see here. So first thing, of course, that we need to do is here we need to get our accounts ready, right? Because with nothing on our trading account, we also cannot trade anything. And we have a promo code here for September again called Goldtember, although the performance of the crypto markets and the classical markets has been anything but gold in September so far. Nonetheless, this is the promo code we are using, and I think I haven't used this on this trading account here so far. So let's see. Goldtember activated. Yeah, I haven't used it. So 7% deposit bonus for you guys if you activate this code and then fund your account. Yeah, I'm going to transfer here a bit, and I want to maximize obviously on this. So you can see I put 100,000 US dollar TIFA onto this account. I get my bonus here, 7,000 US dollar TIFA. So this is going to be some nice extra margin for us later on for trading. So if you are already a client, use this promo code, deposit some money. It's good for you. If you aren't a client yet, well, maybe it's high time, to also become a client of PrimeXBT. Good. Wow, the chat is already busy. Happy to see that. I can see that still some people are also joining us, but we have still a little bit of time left, obviously. So two things, get your trading account ready. Second thing, of course, would be please go to the Telegram channel of the Academy and cast your vote there on what you think I should be trading here today. And it's a pretty close call here at the moment. I can see there are still votes coming in. Yeah, it's a very close call when it comes to position number 2, which one I should trade. Still time to cast the vote. So I would say like 7 or 8 minutes before the release of the actual data, I'm going to post the results here. We are slowly going to open our trading positions then. And then we'll see if the power of the Academy Telegram community is still as powerful as it was before, and if we can maybe earn $1 or $2 here again during this live event. Good. So what do we have in stock here today for us? core inflation and the so-called inflation data from the USA. A little bit of a higher number is expected here. You might remember from last month's it was August, the live stream, the number came in at 3.2%, which was a tad better than expected. The forecast this month, so August comparison to last year, August comparison 2022, 3.6%, so higher than last month, which would be the second month again that we see actually inflation on the rise a little bit, which is nothing out of the ordinary. The more important number here actually for the Fed, for the Federal Reserve Bank in the USA, is the so-called core inflation, which also is like the normal inflation, except that it doesn't track, but it tracks everything, but volatile foods and fuel costs. So that's why it's always a little bit higher, or at least at the moment a little bit higher. This one is supposed to fall a bit, so we can already see the change in inflation probably year over year coming here more from fuel and the food side of things, which of course is a bummer if you live in the USA because food is something, and probably fuel for your car also something that you have to buy almost every day. So what's going to happen here when the numbers come in? Of course, if the number is better than expected, and by better than expected, I mean inflation rate, for example, below 3.6%, so maybe 3.5 or 3.4%, then we are going to see a so-called risk on market, which means we would then see risk on assets, and that is primarily Bitcoin, that is primarily the S&P 500 rising. So we probably would see quite a strong candle, maybe all the way up here to 27,000, maybe if we're lucky, even all the way up here to the 200 days moving average, the thick red line you can see here. By the way, can you see me, or am I talking? No, okay, great. I thought for a moment that you still see my face full and you don't see my chart. If the number better than expected, so for example, 3.4, 3.5, maybe even lower, 3.2% or something like this, strong risk on move, we're going to see rise in cryptocurrency prices. Of course, here in the S&P 500, we probably would then go into this zone here that we've been eyeing for a while now, again, between 4,580, 4,600. You guys know this is like kind of where I'm eyeing to at least short-term sell the S&P 500, but nonetheless better than expected data could actually put us higher than that, although of course this still is also quite a move the S&P 500 should do then. Euro dollar probably on a better than expected number, also going up again, for sure going to attack 108, maybe possibly even 108.50 or 109 then. And contrary to this, of course, if the number comes in worse than expected, so if inflation is even higher than expected, for example, 3.7, 3.8, or maybe even 4%, we are going to see the opposite of that. That would mean a strong US dollar risk-off scenario again, where we for sure would see a big candle downwards. We, of course, would see Bitcoin attacking 25,000, possibly also this target, which I'm still eyeing for buy positions here around 23,700 to 23,500. So could actually be quite a good entry for a swing trade long there, should that happen. S&P 500, of course, also going into the opposite direction, possibly not today, but in the next couple of days, attacking this support around 4,300 again. Now, the worst, in my opinion, that can happen today is that we see exactly the forecast met, because then we don't get an indication about what next week is going to happen, because next week we have the US interest rate decision again on the 20th of September. Of course, we are going to be live there again. We're also going to trade live this event again. The way it looks right now is that 93% of market participants are expecting an unchanged interest rate next week, so that the interest rates are staying stable. This is also what we at the Academy here have been talking about since July, that this is the most probable outcome. However, Of course, if the inflation data comes in worse than expected today, this would initiate the fears again that the Fed could still raise the interest rates one more time in September to then 4.5 to 4.75%. That is, I'm sorry, I mean, of course, 5.5 to 5.75%. And yeah, as always, preparing for an event like this, it's always a little bit of a gamble, right? So we're not going to trade here crazy large positions. We are doing this here for the fun. What do I mean by crazy large positions? So if you are trading this today as well, first of all, everything I'm doing here is, of course, no financial advice. If you also want to trade an event like this, please, you have to do it at your own risk. So this is gambling. I'm kind of relying or trying to utilize a trading strategy here that relies on what the power of the masses, so to say, or to be more specific, what you guys in the Telegram channel want me to do. As I said just now, I always like to look here at Trueflation, trueflation.com. They kind of have like a real-time inflation data for the USA. Right now, they are reporting 2.69%. Now, don't get too enthusiastic. That doesn't mean that we're going to see this number. The methodology behind this is a little bit different from what the Fed is using statistic-wise. But we can always get a quite good indication. For example, if we look at what happened during their measurement for August, because we are looking at August data today and not September data. And we can see here for them, we were here on the 1st of August, at least according to their measurements, at 2.19%. End of August was here at 2.72%. So, they also saw a rise actually by 0.5 or 0.6%. And this is pretty much in line with what we are seeing here. Actually, the forecasted inflation rate here by dailyfx.com, or according to the economic calendar, I mean, it's probably not done by them, is a little bit more conservative. Nonetheless, Trueflation is reporting here also that they are expecting today a reading of 3.4%. So they're actually expecting is slightly or quite better inflation reading than the forecast is. Remember, 3.4% versus the forecasted 3.6% would be very, very positive, at least as a first reaction for the markets out there. When I say markets, I mean rising prices in crypto, especially Bitcoin, especially Ethereum, rising prices in stocks. So, for example, the S&P 500, rising euro dollar, which means a weaker US dollar. And yeah, of course, we're also going to see a reaction there in gold. I want to quickly check here again if we had more votes coming in. Yeah, I can see a couple of more votes came in here on the positions, but you cannot see them yet. You still have about 5 to 6, let's say 6 minutes left to cast your vote, if you haven't done so, and then we will see what we are supposed to trade today. All right, so this is what we are expecting in terms of reaction, depending on the number. Let's quickly jump into the chat here and see. Wow, a lot of questions already. I can also see a lot more people have also joined. So welcome everybody that has joined so far here to our live stream. We're going to later, or more precisely in 15 minutes, also do some live positioning prior to the release of the data. And then we'll see. I want to maybe start here answering, because we still have some time left. And I think preparation-wise, I've said everything I wanted to say already. So let's see here about some questions you guys have. I'm scrolling through here. Yeah, this is a good question here from Selçuk. Hi, Selçuk, how are you doing? Greetings to Turkey as well. I believe PrimeXBT was just the other week I think it was like 2-3 weeks ago, we had an expo in Turkey with a lot of very nice people. I did a little video for this one also that was shown there. So obviously a very loved market for us. I mean, Turkey is like crypto crazy anyway, you know. And yeah, what is the Selchuk is asking, what is the impact of American inflation data on exchange rate in different countries of the world? Good question, Selchuk. So the first impact this release is going to have is, of course, going to be on the US dollar. And therefore, the impact will trickle down to other currencies as well. We can, for example, if we look here, because you are from Turkey, if we look here at US dollar versus Turkish lira. Of course, this is, you can see I turned here my sniper signal generator off, because it's very, very confusing, because the Turkish lira is a very strong inflationary currency. But what we probably would see if like the release is better than expected is that the Turkish lira would probably gain versus the US dollar. We would see a weaker US dollar. Why? Because that is a risk-on event. Better than expected data, rising stocks, rising currencies. And what happens also then on an institutional level is that institutional investors switch from US bonds back to the stock market. So actually they have to sell the US dollar and, for example, buy the Turkish lira. So you could probably expect then in a functioning market that is, of course, I mean, the Turkish lira sadly, of course, has a lot of other problems currently, or for a number of time already, that maybe we would see the exchange rate going down, meaning that you have to pay less lira per US dollar. Same here, or actually it's the other way around. If we look, for example, at pound sterling versus the US dollar. So in a risk-on case, better number than expected, we probably would see pound sterling versus US dollar, same as euro US dollar, going up, because then you have to pay more US dollar per pound sterling. So this is the way it goes. You're probably not going to see like an effect if you look at something exotic, I don't know, like Indonesian rupiah versus Singapore dollar or something like this. But on Forex pairs that have a direct association with the US dollar, of course, you're going to see reaction. However, because this is where I'm from, Forex trading, Forex option trading especially, I would always concentrate for my trades here on the most liquid market, which in this case is, for example, euro versus US dollar, or pound sterling versus US dollar, or I know Ragnar is watching here again, and Ragnar likes to trade the Japanese yen. So you can also do the same, of course, with US dollar versus Japanese yen. In this case, of course, it would be US dollar yen going down, because you would have to pay less yen per US dollar, the US dollar devaluing versus the yen. Good. Next question. And then, oh no, actually, we should now close our polls, because I see it's already 2:20. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to make a quick snapshot of the votes. So votes closing in 10 seconds, guys. If you haven't voted, this is your last chance now on the Academy Telegram channel. If you haven't prepared your account, you should do so as well, by the way. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that's it. So I'm going to take a screenshot of that now, and then I'm going to show you what you guys decided I should trade. Here we go. Quickly upload it here. You're excited already, guys? Here we go. Yeah, and this is what you guys decided for today. So most of you, including myself, by the way, voted on a Bitcoin long position. with a 34%, like 1/3 of all the votes. That's quite a high result. I think we've never had this before. So clearly your expectation, the expectation of the Academy community is that we are probably going to see a better than expected number, so something below 3.6%. So that's our first position, of course, Bitcoin long. Here, second most votes for Bitcoin short, which I'm not going to trade, obviously, because that would mean we have a long and a short position in the same asset. Doesn't make any sense, just costs us money. And the third most vote is, and that was a close race here, guys, between gold and euro dollar. Actually, gold yesterday, when I broadcasted this vote, was far outperforming the votes here for euro dollar. But euro dollar has done some catching up. So we are going to trade long Bitcoin and long euro dollar. This is good because as a position, because this goes in the same direction. So if number is better, this is exactly what's going to happen. Stronger Bitcoin price, rising Bitcoin price, and a higher euro dollar. Good. And now we will also see here. So later on, I have regular trading activated. Good. So we're going to need Bitcoin, and we are going to need here from the Forex tab. I'm trading here the classic instruments. You can, of course, also, if you haven't done that already, trade Bitcoin, the long, on our new crypto futures trading platform, if you haven't tried that one out. However, currently you cannot use the promo code for that one. So if you want to utilize this promo code, Goldtember, or maybe one of our regular promo codes, you have to do this here on the normal trading interface, so to say. So second position would be then here, euro versus US dollar. I want to go down here a bit on the time frame to, let's say here, 5 minutes, and we're going to wait another 2 or 3 minutes maybe until we open the position, so we kind of do it really last minute. Another thing I want to do for us here is I want to, first of all, delete my crude drawings here, and then we are going down here also, maybe even to the minute. Yeah, or let's actually go also to the 5 minute one. A little bit of anticipation, is that correctly pronounced? Difficult language, English language sometimes. So we can see the market has been trending up a little bit higher already since this morning. So maybe there is the expectation of a broad market also that the number could actually be a little bit better than expected. So this one we are going to need later. We're obviously going to need euro versus US dollar later. And but have 6 minutes until the numbers come out. So let's start here with the first position. So I'm going to open here in Bitcoin US dollar. One position, I'm going to buy 1 Bitcoin. Market order here. Here we go. And then I'm switching to Forex, and I want to also have a little position in euro US dollar. So we're going here with 50,000 euros we are buying versus US dollar, sending this one also. And then one thing I want to do now is I want to switch here to one-click trading. Because now when I want to close my position, I'm always getting this confirmation window first. So I have to do actually 2 mouse clicks in order to do that. I want to change here to one-click trading. So if I click on the cross now, my position is immediately closed for the price that is available at that very moment. And you know how volatile it sometimes can get after the release of data like this. So I want to make sure that while I have to do 2 mouse clicks, the price is not totally somewhere else already. Another important thing here, you will notice I'm not building up like terribly huge positions here. I mean, of course, 1 Bitcoin is a large position, 50,000 euro versus dollar is also a large position, but in relation to the account size we are trading here with, which is 100,000 US dollars, it's not terribly much. So I'm not even trading a leverage 1-to-1. And this is very important when you want to trade things like this, events like this, that you keep your position size a little bit low. I know sometimes leverage can be fun. You know, of course, it's fun sometimes to YOLO a position with a leverage of 1 to 100 or 1 to 200, but 19 out of 20 times you're going to get stopped out there. And this is, of course, nothing, you know, I want to transport to you guys. It's nothing to do with professional trading. This is really pure gambling here. And also never bet like super much money on a trading strategy like this. This is for fun here, guys. But since it has been working out so great in the past, I think 4 out of 5 times we ended up earning really some nice money with this, always a couple of $100. That I thought like, hey, if it works so well, you know, why not continue with it? Good. Switching back, we have another 3 minutes roughly left. I want to actually look here on the, not this one. Where's the calendar here? Watch list, data window, calendar, no? Yeah, oh, I have the earnings calendar big, that's why. So I want to see, I think here trading view usually is a little bit faster with giving out the numbers in comparison to daily FX, but let's see here. So at the moment we see not much is happening. It's the calm before the storm. And we have another 2.5 minutes here to wait until things hopefully go wild. And I say here, by the way, hopefully go wild, because my wish kind of is actually for today that we see a number that is really largely different from what is the expectation. So I would love to see, for example, here instead of 3.6%, something maybe even like 3.2 or 3.1%, because that would mean we have as an immediate reaction on the market a lot of volatility, and maybe that also helps us to break out from this almost boring phase we are seeing here for months at the end already. The sideways move, the one we had here. Then suddenly we have a lot of volatility, then we have a sideways move again. So it's a bit boring, it's a bit frustrating especially if you're day trading and you see Bitcoin like have a trading range of like $200 per day. This is not so great for trading, so I would like to actually see a bit of a surprise here today. Preferably because we have decided here on the long positions, the community has decided on the long positions, of course, something better than expected number. So 3.4%, like Trueflation is expecting, maybe even 3.3 or 3.2%, and core inflation maybe 4.1%. That would be optimal for us. I really wonder how the market would go absolutely wild then. But you know, everything will be resolved, and we still have 1 minute to go. So now all we can do is wait it out. I see a question here. Going to answer this later. If Bitcoin will reach 20,000 this year, I saw just now. Please remind me that I later answer it. It will take me a little bit longer to answer this than just what is that now 40 seconds we have currently left until the number comes out. Okay, 30 seconds left. Things are getting exciting. Bit of spikes already here to the upside in euro dollar. Bitcoin not reacting so much yet. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And here we go. So what is it? First reaction is down, as I see here in Bitcoin. Is that right? Oh, 3.7%, ladies and gentlemen. So worse than expected. Core inflation was a direct hit with 4.3%, the forecast fulfilled here. So by definition, this should actually mean that we see Bitcoin falling. We're not seeing that much action to the downside there yet. Now things become a bit more interesting. We are seeing euro US dollar also go to the downside. So guys, this is the first time we are on the wrong side of the market. And I'm quite excited what is going to happen now, because as you also know, sometimes it's like that the first reaction of the market, so the first swing into that direction, is kind of also the move into the wrong direction. Bitcoin now probably going to try to attack the 26,000 here. Let's have a quick look here. S&P 500, of course, also, it's not a massive dump, actually. It's not so super volatile. Number still around expectation, but US dollar going strong here. So the more severe reaction here on the US dollar, you can see we are down here by almost 200 US dollars also. Yeah, see, this is why I said don't go crazy on the position size. It's always a bit of a gamble. But let's see how this develops first. We need to give the market a little bit of time to digest this first. As I said, very often what you see is also that the market goes into one direction first, and then it pulls actually into the other direction because you have a lot of closing. This is what we see here. See this candle here in Bitcoin. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger for you. Exactly, what you would expect. So let's see here later. Should we really see something like 26,200? I'm probably going to close the position here. Right now, it's not terribly much reaction, actually. I'm a bit surprised that we are already coming back here. If we would have bet on the right direction, I would have already closed the position. Very typical reaction here into one direction, and then the market first comes back. So the interesting thing is now, of course, going to be what is going to be in a couple of hours. How is the market going to react there? Look at the S&P 500 here, minus 13 points, 0.3%. That's not a huge reaction. Kind of surprised that we don't see more there. So let's wait it out here a little bit first. Kind of interesting also to see how we can deal with being on the wrong side of the market. So what you naturally actually should do now, and I'm going to do this now, market's almost back, I'm going to close the position. So we had minus 70 plus minus 20, so we lost 90 with a bit of fees. Let's say we lost 100 US dollars. So what we did now is a bit of damage control here. Markets are pulling back a little bit, and I wanted to get out because I'm on the wrong side of the market by all looks. Typical would also be now here that the market pulls back to where it started, to around this area. This actually happened, and then at least for a moment, it's going to continue further into the downside direction there. We are out of our position. Sorry, guys. No bonuses this time. This time, actually, we managed to lose some money, but that's okay. Look at this here. Euro dollar, we actually would have been in profit already. This is a bit of a surprising turn of event, I must say. So this kind of shows actually that the market wants to go up. Bitcoin, on the contrary, still a bit weak, but I'm really, really surprised by what we see here from euro dollar. This is something I didn't expect, really. Not bad, not bad. So if I would have been a little bit more patient, we could have closed the euro US dollar position with a bit of profit. However, I'm quite satisfied that having the wrong judgment, we as a community this time, that we still managed to not lose a lot of money with a trade like this. All right, let's see how things are developing. Pump and dump. Yeah, it's really like this, because you're absolutely right. A bit crazy reaction here again. So Louis had a question earlier, and I said I want to answer this one after the release of the data, which is now the case. You were asking if we are going to see 20,000 US dollars in Bitcoin again this year. And I want to answer this actually very precise. So because normally from most people doing streams like this, you probably would get the answer, could be or couldn't be. Let's see, I don't think we will. I'll be very honest with you. What I'm expecting for the moment, and guys, again, this is my personal opinion, doesn't mean that I'm right. I'm also sometimes wrong about the market. Luckily, I'm more right than wrong. That's why I can earn money with this. But of course, I could be wrong. And I made the call already, I think it was 2 days ago. Was it 2 days, on Monday evening, where I said when we dipped down to 25,000 US dollars and managed to hold on to this, I said I'm buying a position now, and I did. I closed the position yesterday around 26,200 US dollars. What for the moment, I don't think we are going to continue up here straight and go back to 28,500 or even to 31,000 US dollars, because we still have 17 days left here of September. And historically speaking, September for cryptocurrencies, for Bitcoin, has in 9 out of 11 cases been always a bad month. And I mean, so far, it has been a bad month, right? We are lower than we were at the beginning of September. Not much by all means, but a little bit. Actually, I think we are a little bit where we started, because the dump already down was in the end of August here. So I could imagine, first of all, that yes, we are going to test the 25K again. I think this is not the only time we did this. So in the upcoming days, maybe a week, maybe 1.5 weeks, I can see another test of 25K. I potentially also could see us going down to 23.5 to 23,700. But for me, this price, just for me, this would be my low end for this year. And if I say this year, I mean, we are approaching slowly the halving next year, end of April, of Bitcoin already. So I wouldn't be surprised that by then we're going to see maybe prices between 40 and 50,000 US dollars again. So, but since I, of course, also do not have a crystal ball on the table, I'm not going to bet all my money and wait on Bitcoin going down to 23,500 US dollars. What can I do? I can DCA. I can always every week, every month, whenever you have some spare money, add a little bit of positioning. Because if we don't go down to 20,000, and as you just heard, I'm not expecting this, then you're going to be very sad that you didn't buy at 23.5 or 25 or maybe even 30,000 US dollars when the price is then maybe at 60, 70, 80 or 100,000 US dollars, or wherever the next bull market is going to carry us. So next, I hope that answers your question. Well, Brian, also good comment here from Brian Rodriguez. What are the conditions that make you positive in the market, especially in BTC prior to the interest rate news? I'm in a very negative perspective. So again, like for this, this is a community trading event. So it doesn't matter what I think. I trade what you guys in the Telegram chat were telling me. However, if we not just look at this event or the interest rate event next week, I am positive. I'm very positive for the markets. And I think I also did a video, probably not just one video on this, because we are going to see an interest rate plateau now, where interest rates are not going to further rise anymore, probably. And come on, I want to show you what I mean. This is the chart I was looking for. So by interest rate plateau, I mean something like this. So in the past, actually in the past 30, 40 years, it has always been after we saw a period of rising interest rates, we finally reached a plateau and then interest rates came down again. So if the Fed is not going to raise interest rates next week, we have reached this plateau. We have reached this plateau at 5.5%. And for me, it's a terminal interest rate because the interest rate is already higher than the current inflation rate with 3.7%, as we just saw. And usually followed by this, you're going to have a phase of between 7 months, sometimes 4 months, sometimes when it's very long, 17 months on average. This phase is around about 9 months where you have stable interest rates. And after this, interest rates start to go down again. And if we count 9 months into the future from September, we are around the time of the next Bitcoin halving. And falling interest rates plus a Bitcoin halving should be very, very positive for the cryptocurrency markets. That's why I always say at the moment we have to be a little bit patient still. But the closer we get to the next halving, the more positive, in my opinion, things are going to be for the markets overall. Falling interest rates also going to be positive then again for, of course, the stock markets, right? Mhm. Good. Let's maybe have one more question, and then we're going to call it a day. Let's see here. I'm trying to find one more question I saw earlier. But since you guys are really busy today writing, which is, of course, super good. Let's finish with this one here from Maoli Oliveira. Do you really believe that inflation rates have reached their peak, as they are already saying, and now a decline will come? Yes, I believe that. And I also believe that with declining inflation rate, and that trend started last year in September or August actually already, that we've seen the lows of the stock markets. I mean, this is actually all I've been talking about for a year now, no? Where I said, like, it's time to switch back to risk on assets. It's time to buy stocks. It's time to buy crypto. The problem we are now facing, however, is that we are in this last leg of this bear market, in the so-called depression zone, where nobody really is that much interested anymore in stocks, where nobody is really interested in Bitcoin anymore. That's why we see these phases where the market just goes sideways. And I mean, look at this. When I switch here back to the 5-minute, and of course I need to auto-fit the data, we are pretty much again where we were before the release of the data. So it's a bit of a non-event. I'm surprised that it is. Euro dollars seemed like it spiked out a little bit here at 107.60. Still a little bit upset that I closed this position too early, but this is how things are sometimes. So yeah, for sure we're going to see inflation not going down in a straight line, and we've seen 2 months in a row now where inflation went a little bit higher. It never goes down in a straight line. And if maybe I can share a chart later in the Telegram group about this, where you'll see it's very normal if you look into the past. Actually, since we are talking about it, I should actually show you this chart here also. Inflation versus the S&P 500. So see here, where we had those high peaks above 6%. 6% is the blue line here of inflation. When inflation came down, it never came down a straight line. There were always times where it ticked higher again. And I know that these times are freaking many people out, because for sure, if you search tonight on comments on the inflation data release, you will for sure suddenly see something like a comment: inflation is returning, US is going to enter hyperinflation, or something like this. Again, it's not true. It's not true. Inflation has come down. This is the first tick to the upside we are now seeing, and it doesn't really matter. I'm very sure in the upcoming months we're going to see lower inflation rates again, until we finally, and I want to close today's session with these words, until we finally see us returning to the target range of 2% inflation that the US central bank, also the European central bank, by the way, has long term. All right, guys. Sorry, this time no money to earn, really, but also not lost. A terrible thing. We're going to see each other latest next week again, when, of course, in the evening of the 20th of September, we are going to report live about the interest rate decision of the Federal Reserve Bank. I'm very sure this is going to be very interesting, and I'm already very excited if maybe we, with community trading, can earn back the $100 that we lost today. I hope you guys had some fun as well. See you very soon again, and until then,